is hard to find. Don't you mind people grinning in your breeze?
Hey guys, how are you? Let's talk about The Double. This is a British, quirky, stylized drama piece with a light sprinkling of very, very dark comedy, coming from writer-director Richard Ayoade, who has a dry British sense of humour himself. You might know him as the actor from The Watch, and also he did the television comedy series The IT Crowd. This is his second feature. His first feature was a film called Submarine that was also quite stylized, quirky, darkly comical. That was a coming of age, first love type of story. This film, The Double, stars Jesse Eisenberg and also Jesse Eisenberg as the two lead characters, Simon and James, also starring Mia Wasikowska, the lovely Australian actress, and a bunch of other familiar faces as well. I did notice that the two lead actors from Richard Ayoade's first film, Submarine, which I just mentioned, did make an appearance here in supporting roles, so I kind of like that, keeping it all in the family. Jesse Eisenberg, you of course remember from The Social Network, and it's also been announced that he's going to be playing Lex Luthor in the upcoming Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Very, very exciting, just as a side note. So Jesse Eisenberg is playing the protagonist in his first role, called Simon. Now Simon is severely shy. He is lacking any kind of self-confidence or pride or social skills, and he's working at this weird office dead-end kind of job that he's been working for absolute ever, and he develops an obsession with Mia Wasikowska playing the character Hannah, and sort of he lives in the apartment block opposite her and just falls in love with her from afar, but doesn't have the courage to approach her and strike a conversation. Then things get weird when Simon is one day confronted by his doppelganger, his absolute double in every physical way, except this double, James, is everything that Simon wishes he was. James is confident, charming, and a social butterfly. How incredibly weird would it be to have a double? Like, not a twin, but like you, but the better version of you, and that person is walking around out in the world. Hi! Yeah, no. Okay, sorry, got a bit distracted there. So in comes James with all his vibrato and confidence, and of course the first thing he eyes is Hannah. So he sweeps her off her feet right out from under Simon's nose, which of course he is absolutely dumbstruck by, and that's when he has to decide whether or not he's going to step up and fight back and fight for Hannah, or if he's going to just shrink away into the shadows. So this whole story is based on a very classic piece of Russian literature from author Dostoevsky. I butchered that name. You get that very eerie sense of strangeness from the design and landscape of this film. It's like another world, but not too distant from our world. Another element that really set the tone, this industrial tone, was that there was no real natural light in this. In fact, just thinking about it now, I don't think we saw daylight at all. I believe the majority of it is all set at night, or set indoors with this tungsten, sort of yellow toned, icky, milky light. I am a big fan of Richard Ayoade. I loved his first film, Submarine. I definitely enjoyed this film in a weird and sad yet strangely comedic sort of way. I think that Richard Ayoade, has a very distinct and unique voice and way of telling stories. He has this dry comedic sort of element, but underneath the layers it is quite sad and very haunting. For me, the greatest element was absolutely watching the performances from Jesse Eisenberg. I definitely believed he was these two separate people, but born of the same being. Completely bizarre. I just loved how they really presented this story. It's a dark little indie flick, but it well deserves a bit of notice. I'm a huge supporter of independent cinema. I was waiting for this film to get a theatrical release here in the US. I had my eye out, maybe it did, but I didn't see it anywhere. I ended up having to watch this film on video on demand, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and think it's well worth checking out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up to date on my other movie reviews, especially as we come into the summer blockbusters, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!